BaZi or astrology reading will bring you more harm if you do not know. I've seen many different types of people approaching BaZi or astrology very differently. And I think the concern is really there. Like the ones I know of, they are typically these few types. The first one is the ones that totally reject BaZi or astrology. And the reason why is because it's that BaZi or astrology, it kind of like limit them in terms of their potential because everything seems to be on the chart. Now, they are not wrong. It is true. The impact is totally real. Now, the second type of people who I've seen a lot is the type that have a very bad experience in BaZi reading. And then guess what happened? Throughout the whole life, they are kind of like trying to prove the BaZi reader actually is correct. So example, one bad experience of BaZi reading chart, immediately they dictate and make decisions based on whatever the BaZi reader says. And as a result, it didn't turn out very well. So it become like a vicious cycle. Now, another type of BaZi people who approach BaZi or astrology is the type that thinks that BaZi or astrology dictates their life. Meaning to say, they see BaZi as it is, or astrology, and they only play or do things within that realm. Now, it is also very limiting, isn't it? So all these are really problems. It is true that how BaZi and astrology can really create these type of problems and also these type of limitations. You see, the use and idea of any BaZi or astrology chart is practically useless if anyone is approaching it in the mindset of lack and scarcity. As a reader myself, and if you are a reader, it's very important to be aware that BaZi is just a tool. It is not here to dictate whether or not your life is going to be successful or other person's life is going to be successful or not. So it is not here to dictate your life. Unfortunately, if the reader is coming in with the mindset of judgments, with the mindset of telling people or telling yourself perhaps, say that, oh, this is a bad chart, this is a good chart, this is bad, this is good, that is very judgmental. So in that sense, if you are approaching, or if you are a reader or you know any reader who approach BaZi chart that way, it is not actually very useful, because at the end of the day, it's very personal. It's more like trying to tell you whether you're a good chart or a bad chart without any form of values. And that is a problem. I call this reading chart with knowledge without wisdom. Also, as a receiving end, say example, if you are the one who is trying to get a consult from someone, who is trying to get an astrology consult from someone, right? It is also very important to know one thing, that the chart, the tool, do not dictate your life. At the end of the day, you are the one who decides what to do. The tool is just a compass. Tools like BaZi chart is only meant to allow you to understand who you are, understand your subconscious, understand your strength, your weaknesses, understand where do you usually fall short. That's it. It is not a tool to make you feel bad about yourself. But knowing and having my experience of consulting and teaching, most of the time students and clients, they would tend to focus on what is bad. So very typical is that usually when we're talking about something, the first thing that students or client will say, oh, it sounds bad. Oh, is this bad? Things like that. So it is very typical, honestly. But that is the thing. As a receiver, you need to also understand one thing. Good and bad always must come with a context, because every one of us are just human. We have a fair share of good and bad things. But it is not the point to actually use the chart to tell you whether you're a good person, you're a valuable person or not. So at the end of the day, it is not about the tool. It is about how you perceive the information that was being extracted from the tool. That is why it is very important, if you want to actually look for a BaZi reading, if you are actually reading the BaZi chart for yourself, it is very, very, very important to know this, that you need to have wisdom, not just knowledge. You need to understand the big picture of it. At the end of the day, tools like BaZi or any form of astrology, it is not here. It is a tool that is being formed like thousands of years ago. It is not here to tell us how bad we are, how terrible we are. It is not that purpose. It is just a tool to help us and guide us grow. It is a tool that helps us to understand our lessons at the end of the day. Unfortunately, fear does spread faster than wisdom. So if you are actually a reader or if you are reading it by yourself, please be very aware about it. The tool is just a tool. BaZi astrology is just a tool. It's not here to dictate who you are. You use it rather than allowing the chart to dictate you, and use it with wisdom. If you are listening to this now, I hope it will give you a different perspective on how you can use chart and perceive astrology differently.